is what a non-standard Bentley sounds like.
Absolutely.
Right, so we're here today with Michael from the Sporting Bears. He's going to explain a wee bit more about what the Bears do and what kind of experience you could have with them today here at the NEC in Birmingham.
Okay, well, here we are at the Call Wall. So if you look on our display board here, we've got a choice of perhaps 80 cars for people to have a go in and have their dream ride. So we have everything from a Citroen 2CV to the latest Ferrari, the latest hybrid 1,000 horsepower Ferrari. There is literally something for absolutely everybody. The great thing about my car with the Bentley is you can get the full family in the car. The price you pay is purely a donation. You can donate more, but all of the proceeds go to the charity. You're not paying per person, you're paying for the car. So it's a really phenomenal thing that everybody's doing here today. So once you've chosen your car, we go around to the booking team and we get you booked in, and then after that, you're straight into the car.
Sounds good. All right. And I think we should maybe take a wee drive out in your Bentley and see what that is like.
Absolutely, let's go.
What better place to start?
Yes,
right.
Indeed.
And here we've got a tunnel, so let's hear what this sounds like. So stick something in the comments if you've ever heard a Bentley go through a tunnel like that. That was incredible. And the popping and banging there, yeah.
You can't be popping and banging. Yeah, popping and banging is good.
Very, very impressed. I mean, what a car.
And of course, you know, so today for Sporting Bears, I think they're charging £50 for today. In fact, the cost, what we charge actually doesn't matter. Whether we get £5 for a ride or £50 for a ride, all of the money goes to the charities. You know, so there's no petrol expenses. No one's taking any expenses. The whole club is ran on volunteers, which I think is phenomenal, and that's one of the reasons I've got involved with the club and have been sort of supporting and bringing different cars for, I think, nearly 18 years now.
It's been a while, isn't it? Because I think I'm over 10 years and I've known you certainly for that whole period.
Yeah, my dad used to bring a GT40 back in the 90s.
Right.
When the club first started. And I think it's one of the few organisations where you can raise a lot of money and do a lot of good and have a great time.
Absolutely,
you know? So
100%.
You find with the Sporting Bears guys,
no traction
sorry about
control.
That. I just sort of thought I'd concentrate on the steering for a moment there as the rear wheels.
It must have been it must have been a damp road.
A bit of grease on the road. And so you know, we talk about cars a lot in the club, and it's just an awesome group of people, and you know that get involved, like yourself.
Yeah.
And continue to support over the years.
It was back in the days when I had a V8 Westfield.
Do you know, I remember that V8 Westfield very well. I think I went in it at some point. What a fantastic bit of kit, you know. No weight in a V8.
I remember that car and I do miss it.
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get kit back on the road this year and we can do some more dream rides and that is the plan anyway for me.
So this is a 1997 Continental T, which is one of the rarest production Bentleys. I think they made about 104 right-hand drive versions of these cars.
Right, okay.
But back in the 90s, the Sultan of Brunei hankered for more power, and he commissioned Bentley to build him 28 engines. 14 went into cars, and there were 14 spare engines. And it was a top secret project at the time called the Blackpool Project. And they built 7 Continental Rs with a 530 horsepower twin turbo engine, and they built him 7 4-door Continental Rs, which are very rare, and then there was 14 spare engines. About 10 years ago, Bentley sold off 13 of the 14 spare engines to a Bentley specialist, and they were bench tested at Cosworth. Cosworth had done a lot of the development work, and I managed to pick up one of those engines, which was brand new, unused, off the shelf. Now the Sultan, he paid £1 million per engine back in the 90s, so it's quite an expensive project, with it costing him 28 million quid. And occasionally you do see the cars come to market, but very, very rarely, and they're called Supercons, which stands for Super Fast Continental.
Right.
This is the only Super Fast Continental T in the world. So you won't find another one with this spec. So
that's why I thought it would be a good car to choose to give a bit of an introduction into the Sporting Bears Dream Ride. Yeah.
Well, this is 600 horsepower, and it's got just over 1,000 Newton meters of torque.
Wow, so that's big numbers.
Big numbers. The fuel economy has been impaired slightly with the increase in power. So driving it hard, you can get 4. And I've tried to get it lower, but I just can't.
We can try just now, make it down
we'll
to
try.
3.
And then normally I get about 11 to the gallon.
Right.
So
okay.
still,
that's fair enough for a 600
okay.
brake car, I think.
Well, that's right. Yeah, that weighs 2.7 tons.
Yeah.
You know, and it is a great car, quite fun to drive.
I mean, even by today's standards, 600 brake, that's getting on a bit, isn't it?
Yeah, 0 to 60 is about 4.5 seconds. Top speed is about 190, just over 190.
In silence.
In silence, yeah.
And luxury.
Yeah. Silence and luxury, and I tend to drive it, with enthusiasm.
Yeah.
Shall we say, everywhere it goes, because again, you don't expect a car like this to be driven.
Absolutely,
fast.
yeah.
You always expect it to be
yeah.
going slowly. So the nice thing about this is because the torque is immense, I'm going to slow down to sort of 30 miles an hour, and then I'm going to use just half throttle. So won't go full throttle, we'll just go half, and you get to appreciate the torque. So there you go, half throttle.
Jesus.
So 3,500 RPM, and then it just builds up.
I don't know if you can appreciate that through the film, but certainly, the kick you get in this seat is unreal.
Absolutely, yeah. It's quite impressive. And the red line on this is set to kick in at 4,800 RPM. So it's not a high rev.
Yeah, so relatively low, yeah.
Yeah, which makes it very understressed. And you can get more power out of these, But again, for me, it's about longevity.
I mean, it must surprise a lot of people when you look at it, because they don't look like a sporty car, do they? They just look like a bit of a GT cruiser, and then you got 1,000 Newton meters of torque under your right foot.
That's right. Sort of rip your eyes out as you're accelerating, And it's great for burnouts now. If you think back in the day, you could never ever get a 90s Bentley to spin the wheels.
And what else to do in a Bentley than a burnout?
Than spin the wheels. Whereas now, if you just hold it on the brake, build up the revs to about 1,500 RPM, release the brake, and then floor it, and you smoke the tyres, into second gear, which is quite impressive.
I mean, you've had this car quite a while now, haven't you?
Yeah, 6 years.
Yeah,
6 years, nearly 7 years. And
I remember one of my first experience of Sporting Bears Dream Rides was actually with you.
Yeah.
And what was the spec on that car at the time? I can't remember it, but it was impressive.
It was a Bentley Turbo R that had been built to race. And it was built by the same specialists that look after this now.
Right.
And it actually had one of the 13 engines in it.
Ah, right, okay.
So that was running 530 horsepower.
Right. I can't remember, was it stripped out, that one, a little bit?
It was stripped out, yeah, it was stripped out, very light. It's very easy to spin the wheels in that as well. This one is a little bit more powerful.
Right, okay.
And the race car was probably a bit louder, I would say.
Right.
But great fun. And it's now, I sold it, and it lives in, it lives somewhere in Europe, and it's doing rides on the track now.
Ah, right, okay.
So it's back on the
so
track
it lives on.
Whereas I used to use it to go to the chip shop, as well as Sporting Bears.
As your daily hack.
Yeah, absolutely. Now what we'll do is we get onto the dual carriageway. We'll accelerate hard up to the speed limit, 70 miles an hour. And again, we're now at 30 miles an hour. I'll put sport mode on, just hold it in gears a little bit longer, and then full power to the deck.
Jesus.
And then round to the rev limiter, up to 70, and there we go. And you'll notice on the overrun you get a bit of popping and banging.
And this thing absolutely flies.
So it is. It's quite a
machine.
Quite a quick car. Yeah. To be honest with you, I enjoy doing the rides probably just as much as the people that pay the money to have the car.
Well, it's just such an unusual combination, isn't it? This luxury.
Absolutely.
And again, it is quite refined still. It's quite quiet.
Oh yeah. I mean,
when you open that throttle though, it's pretty decent roar off that engine.
The gearing, it's geared to about 38 miles per hour per thousand.
Right.
So it's a great cruising car. See if we get a bit of popping and banging on the overall. I'd like it to spit flames.
There,
but
I heard it there.
Oh, you
I
hear it?
heard a wee bit there, yeah. And that's our Dream Rides experience for today coming to a close. And thank you very much for that. And it has been a wonderful experience. Because unlikely I'm ever going to add one of these to my fleet. And if you ever want me to do a review on it, let me know, and I'd happily take it for a blast.
Do some burnouts, yeah.
do some burnouts if there happens to be oil on the road. Yeah. That induction noise is incredible, really. It's just something else.
The power is absolutely stunning, and the delivery of power with this thing, I think is quite addictive, really. We'll give it a little rev. It's not quite as shy and retiring as people would expect it to be.
Yeah.
With that extra power. But there we go. So we're back in the pits.
Well, thank you very much for that, and then we'll cut back in a minute or so.
Fantastic.
Appreciate that. All right. Thanks, Ed. Bye now.